before addressing the camera. Hello everyone, Namaste, thank you for watching this video. My name is Luke Elijah. We're here at the Lush and Green Botanical Gardens here in Singapore, and my lovely video guest with me is Dr. Taylor Bean. Thank you, Taylor, for being here with us today.
Thank you, of course, it's my pleasure.
Yes, Dr. Taylor Bean hails from Vancouver in Canada, and she's an expert and a specialist in both naturopathy and homeopathy. Is that right?
Yes.
Right. Dr. Bean, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, as well as your background and history, and how you got started becoming a naturopathic doctor?
Of course. So, I've always been interested in health, and I've always been interested in the cause of diseases. And I found that naturopathic medicine really delved deep into that, and using different modalities, different treatment methods, and different even testing kits that they use in order to determine what's going on. So I really liked the amount of work that it really encompassed, from the alternative medicine side to the conventional side. It really resonated with me. And so I wasn't having a health issue per se, but there was lots going on in family, friends, and I wanted to determine what I could do for them, and this really, I felt really could help in future and for my family and friends, and helping those that are trying to discover what's the cause of illness and disease.
Right, so it was actually a benevolent cause. It was a reason that of wanting to help your friends and family and help others that made you start on this path of natural healing and natural medicine.
There's just so much information out there. There's so much untapped information, I think, that we're unaware of, and I really wanted to bring that to the surface with the people around me and the people that I'm helping. And I think that we're now in the age where we're seeking answers and causes. What else can I use to help alleviate this issue that I have? And it can be something simple to even something complex. And as a naturopathic doctor, then I'm a person that someone would visit to help answer those questions. So yeah.
How long have you been doing this? How many years have you been doing this?
So I graduated in 2012, and shortly thereafter I moved to Dubai. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to work there, just for licensing issues. But I moved to Singapore a year ago, 7 months pregnant, and so waited until my son was born, and about 5 months later I started working. So I've been working for about 5 months at my current position.
Awesome, right? What's the difference between naturopathy and, say, conventional medicine? What exactly is naturopathy anyway?
It's a good question.
Yes.
So naturopathic medicine encompasses different modalities, so different treatments that we use. So I learned botanical medicine, homeopathy, holistic nutrition, counseling, physical medicine, such as spinal manipulation, myofascial release. And then you have the conventional side, so of course you have pharmaceuticals, which naturopathic physicians learn about and are able to utilize within Canada and the United States. So we dip on both sides when it comes to treating our patients. As a naturopathic doctor, of course, your treatments are going to be more on the end of alternative treatments, because you really want to focus on doing no further harm in your patient and using the body to heal itself. So there's limitations in both, but I think it's very powerful when you utilize both together.
Alright, so they can actually go hand in hand. It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive.
Right, exactly. And so I think that when we are safe and pick and choose what we know is best for that person, I think you can have very powerful results. And to be very aware and cognizant of what you're using, rather than just a lot of medication for this or a lot of natural for this, because it may not be what you need at that time, and it's about using what's for you at that moment and then go from there.
All right. How about homeopathy? What is it exactly?
That's just such a common question. So homeopathy is a very safe, well-used modality that I use in practice. It was discovered, I suppose, put together 300 years ago by a German man called Samuel Hahnemann, and it's started in Germany. It's now flooded the world. The premise of it is like cures like. So if you have, let's say, a headache, they give you a homeopathic that's for headaches. It is to get rid of that headache. Versus if I gave that same remedy to someone without a headache, it could create a headache in that person. I find it's really safe in pregnancy and children, which is why I use a lot in my practice, because you use it for both those demographics, and anyone that's really sick and ill and just can't take something, homeopathy is something that I recommend.
Also, we know there's natural cure and a natural medicine like this, there's probably far less side effects, right? Far less complications or allergies. So
There are.
yeah.
But I do need to say that you still need to be very safe and aware of what you're using.
Yes.
Some of these natural supplements, herbs, and even homeopathy, if you don't use them properly, there can be side effects with those. Of course, less and less dangerous, but it's when you are taking medication is to know what the indication is of using that natural remedy, and if there could be any side effects if you combine the two together.
Alright, so you still need to seek a professional consultant to know what to mix in what quantity and what don't go together and what goes together.
Yes, absolutely.
I see. Right, could you give the audience some health tips and advice to lead a healthier life in a natural way?
So here in Singapore, busy.
Lots of stress.
Lots of stress. Number one, I would say, is sleep. Sleep is critical for healing, and I know it's challenging at nighttime. You've got your device. You want to. I got one last thing I got to do. I tell people you really got to get to bed by 11. Give yourself at least going to be 8 hours of full, consistent sleep, and turn off that phone onto flight mode when it's beside your bed. I think that's really important. I think Wi-Fi. The research on Wi-Fi is now increasing of how the harmful effects that can be to you. So put your phone on flight mode and turn everything off, around 10 to give that your body a chance to relax and go into that sleeping mode. Next, definitely, obviously, in Singapore would be water. Getting enough water.
Yes.
That really helps
Hydration.
flush things out. Hydration. And I find a lot of people drink coffee here.
Yeah, and then she robs you your water.
Of
Robs you your
course.
hydration.
So I say hydration. I always ask people, how much are you peeing per day? I gotta know, are you peeing frequent or not infrequent? So that's important to know. Thirdly, when it comes to nutrition, I always say, think outside the box. Literally. So don't eat food within a box or in a can, but some whole foods, right? So you have the whole food put together and you create a meal. These quick snacks, these bakeries that are everywhere.
Yeah.
I really think
They're convenient and fast, but not good for you. Yeah.
So, once in a while, sure. But when it's every morning when you go to work, you have your coffee and then you have your baked goods. I just think that can set things up. And breakfast is really important. You really want to set your day off right. Then I also would say, get more garlic and onion into your life. You're not sensitive to sulfur products. These have really strong antimicrobial effects, and so I see candida candida infections a lot. So garlic can be something that you can use to help
Combat that.
And battle that. And it's a nice, natural, cheap way to help keep things at bay.
Well, actually, that's the reverse of what some Buddhist practice entails, because some of the Buddhists say, you can't eat onion and garlic because it's too stimulating to your system, and because it's so spicy, it kind of prevents you from getting into a meditative state. But actually, just a little bit of it is all you need, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much health benefits, because like I say, it has antimicrobial benefits as well, and it's nutritious too.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Dr. Bean, could you tell us a little bit more about some of your upcoming projects and conferences that you might have?
Well, interestingly enough, there was just a conference that I was in. It was called Eat, Move, Love, and it had a spectrum of doctors speaking at it. And I'm hoping that there's another one that's going to be put on in the near future. And there was medical doctors, there was chiropractors, there was other types of physicians that were there, and even body talk practitioners. It was a really well-rounded conference.
Right.
So that just happened. I do speak at 4 trimesters on a frequent basis, and I talk about nutrition for toddlers, vaccines, other modalities that you can use when you have pregnancy problems or just common childhood complaints, and other things that you can use. They're very safe and effective. Right now, that's all that I have right now on the agenda. I do a lot of talks around the community, but right now it's for
Okay. Do you actually give workshops?
I haven't yet.
But you planning to?
But I plan to.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All right. We look forward to coming to one of your workshops or see you in a future conference of yours. Right. Speaking of physicians and doctors, could you tell us what's the difference between a naturopathic doctor like yourself and just an ordinary naturopath?
Yeah. So there is a bit of a difference. So naturopathic doctors from North America, we go to a 4-year medical school, and within that school period, you learn about the alternative side, but you heavily learn about the conventional side, and then you utilize those in practice. So you can do PAPs and breast exams on women, and you do blood draws. A lot of IV therapy is done. So you utilize these other tools to help your diagnostic criteria. Here in Singapore, naturopathic physicians are very limited in what we can do. We can't do anything that is within that medical scope. So I unfortunately can't use those. So I trust on other medical doctors that I'm very close with, and I send my patients to these other medical doctors, and we work hand in hand. So my patients usually will have 2 to 3 heads working for them at once, and we'll chat afterwards and just see what focus on what area do we go to help these patients. And I think that community has been really helpful for my patients so far, and getting, it's good to have different eyes seeing and looking at labs, what's going on. So that's been really effective. So I don't feel limited here in Singapore because I can rely on other people to support me in that diagnostic process.
I like that, the fact that you can combine medical science with natural, alternative and holistic practices, so use a fusion of the two. You have.
Absolutely. And I really think that's important for people to understand, is that having both worlds work for you is really important, and not just focusing on one world, because sometimes you do need to dip either way. As
be flexible.
Be flexible. And as a naturopathic doctor, I really try to be in the middle. Conventional, naturopathy, and just sway of what's right for this person at this time. And I think if someone really dearly needs an antibiotic, then let's do that. Let's do that, because it could be further harm if you don't. Now, in conjunction with that, then I'm going to be prescribing other things that help support the body to not cause further harm. Good probiotics, other immune boosting things that I use. So these are important, and that's why I talk about vaccines is a really touchy subject right now, and I'm open to speaking about vaccines with my patients.
So what's your take on this? Are vaccines necessary and good, or are they evil and bad?
So I'm not anti and I'm not pro. So
You're neutral.
I'm very neutral. I'm all about education.
Yes.
And this is how I approach it with my patients.
Yes.
Is that it really depends the scenario for you. Is your child being breastfed? Is your child staying home? Or are they going to daycare right away and being bottle fed? So there's a difference there, because breast milk contains some really strong immune particles that will help the baby in protection if there is something that happens. Now, if you're going to get a vaccine, then I talk about how do we prepare the body for the vaccine, and I give really good things to help support the immune system of the child, because you do have a lot of side effects in terms of fever, just lethargy from the child. Those are the more common ones. So I try to work to prevent that, and I also use homeopathy after they've had the vaccine to help prevent those adverse reactions. So that has been really positive. My biggest thing that I say is to spread them out, to not do combinations. I really try and speak to my patients about not doing the 5-in-1, the 6-in-1, and that's because of the aluminum content that's within those vaccines. And I'm finding the more functional labs that I do with patients, I do hair tests, stool tests, urine tests, and a hair test that I do tests heavy metals in patients, and aluminum is coming up quite high, along with mercury and arsenic and other heavy metals. So vaccines they do contain heavy metals, such as aluminum. Some bodies are okay to deal and get rid of it, and some bodies aren't. And so I work with helping the body be able to eliminate and continue with that. So I say spread them out. What's going on in your life? Where are you in your life? What's going on around us? Is there a lot of one disease and none of another? I think one of the bigger ones would be hepatitis B. That one you can definitely wait to do later, just because of how it's contracted. And so a newborn baby isn't going to contract it unless the mother has it and passes it to the baby, and that's why they do it, to protect the baby from the mother. But that one I think is important, but you can wait to do that one later. One little tip is there's a product called Buzzy Bee, which I tell my patients about, and it's just this vibrating device that you use when your kids go get their shot, and they can't feel it. So then there's that decrease of trauma, and your children aren't scared. Then if they can't feel it, then they aren't scared. So that's one little device to look into.
Well, thank you for all those tips and advice. Very useful for would-be mothers as well as currently nursing mothers. Right?
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about the kit in your hand?
Yes. So this is actually a hair analysis test from a company called Doctor's Data that I use. And this is going to test heavy metals that the person has been exposed to over about 6-month period. So it's non-invasive. You can do a urine, a blood, or a stool, but you do need to do a pre and a post. So you take the sample, and then you take a chelator to provoke your body to remove those heavy metals, and then you test again. So unfortunately, chelation isn't allowed in Singapore. It's something that naturopathic doctors do in North America, but I can't do it here. So I do hair, which is actually a very good way to test to see if heavy metals. So this is one of the variety of tests that I offer. When patients come in, their children have behavioral changes, be it they're ADHD or ADD or maybe on the autism spectrum, then I do this. I see if they're in. A lot of times these kids come up with heavy metals. I also do a comprehensive stool analysis test, and comes up parasites, candida, bacterial overgrowth. So I really focus on the digestive tract and the gut for these guys. And that can have profound effects for them. And then we go and do a urine test, and this is looking at mitochondrial function, neurotransmitter metabolites, again yeast, and even vitamins that are in the body lacking or too much. So then we take all this information, and then we can really steer a treatment plan of, okay, you have heavy metals or you have parasites. A lot of times it's look at the gut. What's going on in the gut? We got to treat that. And so I think a lot of people miss, okay, I've got skin problems or I have headaches. And this can be related to your digestive tract.
Makes sense. It's all linked.
It's all linked. And I see a lot of digestive problems in clinic. So we focus on that first, and that alleviates a lot of these other things that are going on. So it's really about finding the cause and what is creating the issue within your life. So gut is one place you can really start.
Speaking to Dr. Bean like this, you just can tell that she's very knowledgeable on a range of holistic and medicinal topics, right? I would like to pick your brain a little bit more, if I may. Right? Can I ask, right? Could you tell a little bit to the audience about how can we help our body better detox all these, toxins and heavy metals? What can we do on a day-to-day basis to assist the body?
Sure. Exercise is a really great way to start, and I think Singapore is actually really good for that. Water, again, is another great one. Eating foods that aren't processed, fried, again, a whole foods diet is really important. So lots of color, I say lots of color. I want your purples, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, the greens, have those in your diet.
Food color spectrum.
The food color spectrum. Meat, I really emphasize on hormone-free, antibiotic-free. Those are just excess things that you put in your body.
It's very hard to get that.
It is. However, there are some great places you can buy. I always say Fishwives. They're a great place. They're right here in right near Botanical Gardens. There's a new one, Alaskan guys. They're all really good fish, apparently. Then you can go to the Grandstand. They've got another good butcher there. There's also Meet the Butcher as well. So it's getting good meats at these places. And meat in itself, I tell people go at least 2 days vegetarian. Meat in itself in abundance can also be hard on the system, so we want to balance it that way. Protein is very important, so you can do rice and legumes combination, so then you get a complete protein there. So getting other things in, oils are really important. People think, okay, oil equals fat and I shouldn't eat too much. Really quite the verse to that, and that avocado, coconut oil,
avocado, coconut
milk.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff is really good for you. These are good fats for you. And I also say, when it comes to supplements, think, well, what should I take? What should I take? I think probiotics are a really good thing to take. Again, because of the yeast that we talked about, just for good digestion, and it's also really good for the immune system. So if you're going to take a probiotic, I always say at night is the best time to take it. And then a good fish oil. So a lot of people come in and they show me their fish oils, and you can buy lots from iHerb. And locally, unfortunately, I don't see really good fish oils, except Nordic Naturals is actually a pretty good one locally.
What about flaxseed oil?
Flaxseed oil, that is a good one, especially for the vegetarians. I have some in office, and so for those that don't want to consume fish, that's a really good alternative. So looking at the bottle and seeing, are there other things within here? And if they don't say that they don't contain it, then they probably do contain it. So So, you know, due diligence and look online and see the description of the product. You know, people who have a sensitivity to soy, of course, wheat, gluten, eggs, these kind of things should not be in your product.
But you actually sell a range of these products in your clinic as
so
well?
I have some supplements that I offer patients.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dr. Bean, where can the audience go to get in touch with you and to find out more?
So my personal website is drtaylorbean.com, so drtaylorbean.com, or my work website, which is www.cityosteophysio.com. I'm on there, and that's where I work, is City Osteopathy and Physiotherapy at the Horse City branch.
Awesome. Do you also have a Facebook page?
I do. So drtaylorbean.com, Facebook. Yeah.
I'll be placing all these links below this video, so please feel free to click on it to find out more. Right? Thank you, Dr. Bean, for all the information and tips that you've given us. It's very helpful. I learned a lot just having you here. Right, we hope to have you again in one of my future videos.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe to my video channel to look and watch more exciting videos to come. Thank you so much again.
All right.